Welcome everyone, really warm greetings to all of you. Such a delight to begin the week together in this way, and to come back and join this beautiful community that is gathering to practice and to explore the teachings together. Nothing more precious than that in my experience, and want to join in the voices of greetings and welcomes in the chat, add my voice to that as the one who can be heard, hopefully. And for those of you who may not know me, my name is Zohar, and I'll be leading the daily meditation sessions this week. And I am here. It's a lovely morning in West Dorset, in Bridport. Feeling a lot of gratitude to be here and to be together. And so, welcoming all of us into the space, both those who may be joining for the first time and those who are joining very regularly over the years that we've been sharing these sessions together. And the session this morning, well, morning for me at least, I know it's not morning for all of us. Session this morning will include the usual format, some reflections on the theme, and then a practice together for about half an hour, and time for some questions and responses at the end. So here we are together. And the theme of this week, actually the theme of this month for the Sangha Live daily meditations with different voices every week, will be around practices of letting go. And today, wanting to really start this week's ball rolling with that, a very key aspect of the teachings and our practices. It could be interesting just to reflect, just to feel when I say that, to have a sense that we know what that means. And, maybe we even have a sense that we know how to do it. Don't know, or maybe not. But with all of that, just having a sense of a beginner's mind and of curiosity, of interest. What is letting go? And how do we do it? So today I'd like to begin by just kind of pointing towards the fact that we have habits of attention, that the way we pay attention is often habitual. That means that it's not necessarily intentional, not necessarily in alignment with our intention, but actually just a habit, of how we pay attention, what we pay attention to. And particularly today, I want us to notice the habit of attention, which is this habit of pushing and pulling on our experience. So something arises, there's a sound, there's a sight, there's a taste, there's a smell, there's a contact through our body sense, through touch, or there's a mental appearance, mental, emotional, and then that response of the attention to that is to either push it away, it feels like something we might not want, or pull it towards us. This push, pull, this tug, this constant movement, pushing away, pulling towards. And we can really feel it in the body if we pay attention sometimes, especially with the grosser forms of it. But as we get more sensitive, we can feel it on also more subtle levels, in the kind of more subtle aspects of the body, sensitivity. It's just this like pushing away, pulling towards, pushing away, pulling towards. And this is, really helpful to remember. This is a habit. It's a habit of attention. Mm. It's kind of like sucking something in, yeah, or, you know, trying to get rid of it. And it's not intentional. And it's important to remember that, because that intentionality, non intentionality is really a key to our practice and a key to a more wholesome way of being in the world. So that's kind of why I'm emphasizing it, this movement from habitual reactivity to intentional response. Very, very uh, meaningful in our path. It's also interesting to notice that this habit of pushing and pulling on experience is a building block of dukkha. Now, that's why we're interested in it. It's a building block of suffering, of distress, of this sense of friction with experience. We can see it, right? If, like, our response is, don't want you, or really want you, then we're actually have a relationship of friction, with our experience, which then, just feeling into that, that sense of friction, um, is a degree of ill-being. Thich Nhat Hanh's um, definition of dukkha, a translation of dukkha, of this word, ill-being, the opposite of well-being. Now, if this habit of push-pull is habitual, and what we know is that habits are created through repetition, as we repeat this, it becomes a stronger habit. This is really, really useful, to know, because if habits are created through repetition, they are also dissolved through non-repetition, or through doing something else. So our habits, whatever they are, they can be transformed if they are not further fed and not further repeated. And of course, this is what we do when we practice. I'm not perhaps, really saying anything that we don't already do, already put into play when we meditate. And yet, bringing that into the light, bringing intentionality, bringing clarity of seeing is really supportive. So when we practice, we can recognize that movement of the push and pull. We can realign with our intention, which is to meet experience in a wholesome way, in a way that supports well-being and reduces ill-being. And then we can let go. We can let go of that push and pull, which is a distraction. Yeah. Sometimes we think that, the object of the push and pull is the distraction. Actually, it is that push and pull which is distracting, which is, the meaning of that word distracting, pulling apart, yeah, pulling our attention away from our intention. That's kind of, and so we can cultivate, this recognition of, this is what's happening. This push and pull in operation doesn't matter what it's playing out towards. There's push and pull here. And we can let go of that push and pull. We can let go of that experience of distraction, of getting pulled apart, pulled away from our intention and the anchor, of our meditation practice, which is what supports our intention, and come back into presence in the moment. So all of this, this really simple mechanism of basic mindfulness practice, basic, but you know, not negligible, but actually very profound. All of this is going against the stream of dukkha building, against the stream of dukkha building. And so it's incredibly meaningful. And it goes against the further feeding of this dynamic of push and pull, and the push and pull momentum. And it allows something else to be nourished and cultivated. And it allows something else to appear as well. So, yes, hopefully that makes sense and inspires us to practice this morning, and to just have that sense of recognizing that the push pull will arise and recognizing when it does. Yeah. And then having that interest to not feed it, to not feed it because it escalates, and we'll be exploring that more over the days, the escalation. Coming back, yeah, to our intention and the anchor of our attention as a place where we can rest attention, and we can stop building, stop feeding dukkha, both in the moment and in the habits of attention over time. So with that, yeah, let's go forth into practicing together. So if you're not already in a comfortable meditation posture, then please find it. And if you are, as you see me, taking the time to maybe reestablish taking the time to make any adjustments that may be supportive and helpful. So that the body is as supported and balanced and steady as possible right now. Inviting the awareness more fully, deeply into the body as we do this. Checking in with a balance of alignment and uprightness in the back, how that's balanced with a sense of ease and restfulness. Inviting the awareness more deeply into the body. Perhaps feeling the sensations of contact. And letting the awareness gather and collect with these sensations of contact, ground with them. And gently opening. The awareness, inviting it to soften and open through the whole body. Feeling the anchoring of the contact sensations. Softening and open through the whole body, feeling the whole body here. Remembering that this practice is an act of kindness. to ourselves, to the world. Letting that permeate, fill the space of awareness in the body, that intention. So grounded and open, awareness through the whole body. Taking a few moments if you need to, and just get some clarity around the anchor of attention that you'll be using in this period of practice. Some of you, it may be this wide body awareness that we're already doing, if you're familiar with that, or if it feels like a helpful place to be with, to attend to. You may use a different anchor like breath or sound. Metta practice for those who are familiar with it, whatever's an accessible anchor for you and what feels like an appropriate anchor for this time. And so whatever the anchor is, just opening to it, allowing it to be met with attention, keeping the awareness in the body, also with whatever anchor we're using, attending to a gentleness and curiosity and attention, opening to the anchor again and again, receiving in attention again and again, a particular anchor that you have chosen, that you're working with, attending to. So this will be our practice, and we'll continue in silence for a while. Awareness in the body, open and grounded. Gentle curiosity. As we open to the anchor of attention that we've chosen, the breath, the sound, the metta, the body. As we receive its presence in attention. Just this, again and again. Right now, in this moment, noticing what you notice, what's unfolding in this moment. Letting go again and again into attending to the anchor of attention, just this moment of breathing, of hearing, resting into the body space or cultivating metta. Letting the anchor of attention be a refuge and a place of rest. Letting go into knowing it, attending to it, receiving it again and again. This moment, just this anchor of attention present, just this, as often as needed, moment by moment, inviting attention to receive, to rest, the anchor of attention. this unfolding moment right now. The opportunity to notice what's unfolding. Whatever it is the opportunity to acknowledge, to feel any habit of push and pull as it arises, to let go, to offer our attention to the anchor of the practice that we've chosen for this time, to rest into this breath or this sound or this moment of body awareness. Just this, just this. As often as needed, keep establishing this possibility to not struggle, to let go of reactivity, into this moment of attention, of presence, over and over again, taking refuge, taking rest at the anchor of attention, letting go into this moment, right here, right now. Once more, noticing what you notice. The last couple of minutes of practice. It's coming together more fully in attention. Letting go into this moment and the attending to the anchor. Just this. Wholeheartedly as possible. Just this. And when the bell rings in a moment, not rushing to move or open the eyes, taking your time, staying attentive, appreciating the capacity to attend to experience. So thank you for your practice. In a few moments, we'll open to questions and reflections from you. As you may know, the way to do that is to put that into the chat with the word question or reflection in capitals at the beginning. That allows me to kind of more easily see where the questions are. And while we're kind of transitioning and perhaps formulating any questions or reflections that come up around the practice that we've done today, I also want to say just a few words about dana. And as many of you are aware, these sessions are offered freely in the spirit of dana without a fee required to attend, which is such a beautiful, radical way of doing things in our world where so much is transactional. And so the practice of dana, of giving, is not transactional. It's about participation, about sharing, about mutual support. And the invitation for each of us, for each of you, is to practice with this, to feel what was offered to you and what we're offering to each other, and what Sangha Live as a platform is offering to us, and to, take that invitation on to participate and to support Sangha Live for all the running costs of making this possible, and to support myself for the teachings this week. So I will put the link in the chat to the Sangha Live Dana page, and feel free to make use of it as you wish, remembering that anything is a support, including nothing. If those are your conditions and your circumstances, you're really welcome to be here and to offer the dawn of your attention and presence. And whatever will be offered this week will be shared between Sangha Live and myself. So there's the link, and all the information on the practicalities is there. And let's see if there's any reflections or questions around the practice or the teachings that were shared today. Can also be something more general around practice if you wish. And I'm aware that sometimes it takes a little while to kind of make the transition from a space of meditating, and particularly the simplicity of just letting go into the moment of attention. And then from there, formulating, articulating our experience into words and formulating something to say can be quite a transition. So, honoring that. And if that's the case, just noticing for yourself what's the helpful thing that maybe it is just to continue resting into a less articulate and formulated state of mind that I see. Thank you, Tanya, for that first question reflection. Towards the end of the practice, my mind was hijacked by intrusive moments of a very stressful and traumatic time in my life. The pull to these memories felt very different to the more mundane distractions. I'd been practicing metta, but the memories took over, and so I decided to just come back to a broad awareness of my body. Yeah, and I'm not sure if that got cut off there, Tanya, or if that was the end of your reflection. Yes, sometimes, there's just noticing the difference between something that has more charge to it and something that may be needing us to respond in some way. That's more than just the letting go, perhaps. And the more kind of day-to-day mundane distractions of just the mind going somewhere fairly without much charge, just the movement of the mind, which it naturally does to wander about. Or to go to things, that may have content and charge to them, but it's not quite at the same intensity and level. And so it sounds like there was a lot of wisdom there in the response of saying, okay, the metta practice, for whatever reason, doesn't matter why, doesn't feel like the most helpful thing to stay with, and giving yourself then permission to shift to a broad awareness of the body. That felt like that's a more helpful way of attending and practicing with this, with these memories, with this kind of intrusiveness of the memories, that energy, and the distress that comes with them. And so, noticing that and taking time now today to reflect on the wisdom that was there and also what it felt like. Okay, thank you. I see you've edited it. Do you have any other suggestions to respond to memories like that? Yeah. So first of all, to continue and emphasize the appropriateness of just kind of moving to a broad body awareness or something that helps you regulate. Some of us, it can be a deep breathing. Yeah, so breathing deeply. It can be a more specific kind of body contact awareness. So it may be that the broad body awareness was really helpful. In that case, I would just say, just go with that. But I'll just, make a few other suggestions that can be helpful, of just the sense of like the contact of, the left buttock with the seat, the right buttock with the seat, the left leg, the right leg. And if, um, you might even go more details, the hands with each other, with the lap. And it may be helpful sometimes to even have more detail, the thumb, the first finger, the second finger, the third finger, the little finger, in contact with something so that you're really helping to ground and regulate um, your experience. Because it is as you were either intuitively sensing or from your experience, um, regulation is needed when there's a very distressing or traumatic thing that arises. And it's helpful to um, have a broader awareness and also kind of things that are like really pegs for the attention, to help us ground in the body. And in the moment of this experience right now, rather than the memory. Yeah, so like whatever helps to ground in that way, and body awareness can do that for some of us more than metta. For others, it'll be the other way around. That the metta practice, the intention, and the phrases will help to ground and regulate. So they can be arranged there. And sometimes, just to say, with something that's intrusive and has a traumatic charge, it might also be helpful to open the eyes and then actually practice with eyes open. That also helps to open the space. And it may be that the gaze is just softly kind of in front of you. It may be that we actually use the seeing also to regulate. So it may be, looking at the different things that we can see in the room, the colors or the shapes or the components, like wall, window, plant, the ceiling, red, you know, cream, whatever it is that we're seeing, just to kind of gently name it to help regulate and to really see that we're keeping the thread of the practice going there because we're keeping the attention, with something that supports the letting go of the push and pull around what's arising in the experience. Yeah, that's what I'll suggest now, Tanya, and let me know how that sounds to you. Yeah. I see. Another question. Could you say something about the energy of letting go? I notice that there's habitual quality to my letting go, and I'd like to find a way to refresh this. Yeah. So yeah, sometimes we might notice. One thing I would notice is how that habitual energy feels, because if it feels, that maybe this is how I do it, but it actually feels that it brings well-being, then, that may be enough. Yeah. If it feels a little bit like, rote and stale, then maybe we could refresh it a little bit. And one thing is to really feel what happens when I let go. Yeah. Notice what the movement feels like. Notice what the impact is. Yeah, that can help to kind of refresh the experience. What does it feel like? Um, Notice if you can feel the letting go and the before the letting go in the body space. Yeah, like is there a kind of a holding and then a releasing? Yeah, where does it, how is it felt? And then in the releasing, is there any relief that comes as we do that? Yeah, that's something I would um, use. And if you either respond well or work well to images or to language, use those. So it may be that, you just kind of like, let go, release. Yeah. Or even change to open. Yeah. Instead of letting go. You may have an image that goes along, with that. Some of I have this image of opening the fist, the clenched fist. Yeah, which is the push pull. Yeah. And holding on. And then we just open that, relax that. Yeah. And so that can also be a relaxing the holding, opening the clenched fist, the open palm. These can be images that are helpful for us, or a sense of big space. It can also help us as an image and also as a felt sense image. So it's visual and felt sense. So see if any of that is helpful to kind of explore and really to have curiosity in attention and gentleness and playfulness can really, really support. Then, yeah, another question from Clive. You encouraged us to remember that this practice is an act of kindness to the world. The sense of my practice being an act of kindness feels important, and I sense my practice an act of kindness to me and those around me. Could you develop this notion of our practice being an act of kindness to the world? Yes, beautiful. Thanks, Clive. Yeah, so we can have that sense of, first of all, those ripples. Yeah, the clarity. Oh, and for you, that is clear. For others, it might not be. But let's go with kind of your experience because you're asking the question. It's clear that this is an act of kindness towards myself. And then I can see it as an act of kindness towards those around me. And I'm assuming that is clear because in the sense of how that ripples. Yeah, that if kind of the practice is nourishing me and kind of supporting my clarity, then that it changes the dynamic of the relationship with those around me, those that I come into contact with. So, one way we can see practice as an act of kindness to the world is we can see that continuing to ripple out. So, the impact of our own state of heart and mind that impacts how we relate, how we um, interact with those immediately around us, but then that impacts their state of heart and mind. And so it continues to ripple on into the world. Yeah. So, that's one way we can see that. Um, the other is in a real deep sense of the intention and also the big picture of what we're doing. That intention to practice for the well-being of others impacts us as well, and can bring a real oomph to how we're attending. But also, what we're doing, yeah, putting that into the kind of context of we're changing um, the habits of the human heart and mind. Yeah. We're changing consciousness, if you like, because these habits of attention are universal. They're not just personal to each of us. And so, as we're working with that and as we're cultivating kindness and responsiveness as opposed to reactivity, we're changing the habits of the heart and mind of human beings, and therefore of the world, and that's what we're doing in our practice. It's actually really, really big. And for some of us, that may be too much, and for others, it may be really inspiring to see that. Um, so it is an act of kindness, and we can see how the same push-pull tendencies of our attention are operating on global, social, relational fields as well. Yeah, it's the same thing. We push away what we don't want. We try to hold on what we want, and we create incredible suffering as we do that, in our personally for ourselves, but also for others and for the world as a whole. Look at the state of our world and the planet. That's what's going on. And so, as we change it, and as we embody that change, drop by drop, moment by moment, that's a change that is happening in the world, and kind of one of the most incredible acts of kindness and compassion that we can take. And of course, I can talk about this for hours, as you know, the resourcing that becomes available to us so that we can also take action, not just through our meditation, our formal meditation practice, but also in how we show up to the challenges of our lives and of our time. So hopefully that responds, Clive, to that really, uh, you know, excellent and moving question, like all the questions so far. And we have another reflection there. Thank you for your gentle reminder that the felt sense of Vedana, push-pull, is not intentional and part and parcel of having a body. When charged, my difficulty is in remembering I have a choice in how I receive the triggered parts of my body-mind. Practice in meditation does help this reactivity, like a hole I fall into again and again. Any guidance? Yes. So I'm aware of the time, and that there's also another reflection there. So I want to just kind of bring this to a close, and then I'll stay for a few more minutes to answer the reflections that are still there. But I do want to bring this to a close for those who need to go on time, and to thank you for your practice and for being here. And to wish us well for this day and to wish our world well for this day. And go well, and I'll see you tomorrow if you need to go now. So I think this kind of noticing this kind of reactivity and um, how the practice helps, yeah, just again and again letting go, um, and noticing, also reflecting on the difference between when there is a charge, yeah, and we get caught up in that charge, and how then the memory goes. And a lot of our practice is about remembering. One of the meanings of the word sati, mindfulness, is remembering. It's about remembering, about re-engaging with what is happening and what is possible. So, yeah, just this reminder. And as we practice, it becomes more and more available to us, that we can uh, more quickly, yeah, remember this is not personal. Yeah? This is not who I am. Yeah? This is part of having a body, heart, mind. And so it arises, but I can have some agency around how I respond to it and how I meet it. Yeah. So sometimes, if you like this practice of this very gentle noting, not me, not mine, or not just me, not just mine. Yeah. Or sometimes, this too is here, to meet the charge, um, to meet that possibility of choice, in how we receive, and to see it not as a success or failure experiment, but it's part of our learning. It's part of our learning journey again and again. Yeah, and yeah, that image of the hole that we fall into again and again. Yes, and we learn. And it's important. Maybe the last thing to say is to also notice all the times when you don't fall into that hole, because we tend to notice the times that we do more. And so just to notice and acknowledge all the times that I don't fall into that hole can be really helpful over time. Mm. Yeah, and there's just that last reflection from Caroline. And it's inspiring to see that changing myself is changing the world. Feels like a moment, a reflexive moment, and that I'm not just an isolated being. Yes, we're not isolated beings, and there's a lot of support and possibility and potential when we remember that. And also, just it loops back to that reflection, and coming back to that can also help us in moments when we do kind of isolate ourselves and feel this is just me, or this is just about me, and then forget what's possible. So it works both ways. Wonderful. So thank you, everyone. And um, lovely to be here with you. And I see the comment from Lawrence there. Yes, I'm back in the UK as of Friday. Go well, everyone. And look forward to seeing you tomorrow.